Welcome to the Women Who AI podcast, the show where bold women come to the front row. I'm your host, Kelley Tenny, founder of Women Who AI, and every week I'm bringing you real conversations with the women who are building, automating, and making history in the AI space. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women Who AI podcast. Kelley Tenny here, your host, and today I am here with the amazing Tamira Hamilton. Tamira, thank you for being here with us.
I'm so happy. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and Tamira I knew was going to be a great guest because when she and I get together and connect, we're always talking about like all of the things. And as you know, I love to have raw conversations. And I don't know anybody better that is down for a raw, open, and honest conversation than you. So I'm so glad that you're here with us.
I'm excited. I love the raw conversations and what comes out of it. And conversations with you are always so refreshing.
Yeah, this one is going to be a great one. And before we dive in, I just want to share a little bit about you. For anybody that doesn't know Tamira, and I have a feeling a lot of our listeners and followers are familiar with you, but you come from over 30 years of experience from consumer products, travel, Fortune 100, right? Corporate America. And then you left all of that behind to join entrepreneurship. Is that correct?
That is very correct.
Okay. And
As I like to
now
say, it took me that long to figure out that corporate wasn't for me.
I know. I know. It's like it's a thing. And that is such a thing too that I mean, what a bold move because I'm definitely someone who is recognizing that we are like our society raises us to be in line for that kind of corporate America, 9 to 5, right? Stay in one place, get as far as the top as you can. And I think it takes people a long time, not maybe to recognize that it's not for us, but to be able to, at least for me, to be like, it's okay to not have it be for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In this space where a lot of it, and I'm sure you've had a lot of people's dream jobs, where you're just like, people want my job. People want to do this. Am I crazy? But it's a bold move. And we are lucky because now you help entrepreneurs create personal brands. You help them set up strategies, systems, sustainable growth through all the things, right? So that they can really grow their business and increase their revenue.
Yes.
Okay. So I love talking to people like you, especially people who are in branding, people who are in marketing, because I think a lot of times that seems to be the biggest area where people think that they are going to be replaced with AI, right? Because we have more and more people using AI for marketing ideas, for branding concepts, and things like that. So, what is your take on that? Do you live in that fear of AI being able to do what you do, or where do you?
Always been under the impression that Tamira Hamilton is irreplaceable. So whether that be AI, another human, there is not another Tamira Hamilton out there. So good luck with that. You do you, boo. And the saddest part about all of it is I hear top people in marketing beginning to repeat this and succumbing to it. It's like just willful compliance without even putting up. I don't even think that you have to put up a fight, right?
Yeah.
The way I look at it is AI is opportunity. It opens me up to being able to do a lot of the things that I've dreamed of doing and wanted to do, but didn't have the time, the resource, and let's be honest, the money or the skill set
Mm-hmm.
to do. So I don't think that it replaces different people that I would need for certain projects. It just may push out when I call them in and utilize them. But there are certain things that I just don't know, and I wouldn't trust that AI can really tell me because my experience in using ChatGPT, for example, and a lot of people have switched to Claude, and I use both, but ChatGPT in particular, because I've used it the longest and know it the best and it knows me the best. Here's what I can say. ChatGPT knows some stuff. It does, right? But it can't replace 3 decades of nuance, 3 decades of gut instinct
Mhm.
that has been developed and curated over successes and failures and working with humans, being human, it can never do that because it is non-sentient. And
Mhm.
even if they ever get it to being sentient, it's just not the same as actually having that lived human
Mhm.
experience. It's only ever simulating it. It hasn't lived it. And so when you take the formal education, the corporate experience, the entrepreneurial experience, and you combine all that together, there's no AI out there that can speak to that other than minus them putting probes to my brain.
Mhm. Mhm. That's so interesting that you said that. So this morning I sat down and I use AI a lot when it comes to content creation, right? So I might like have a thought that I'll put into AI and then like have it smooth it over for me or something like that. So unless you're seeing like if you're seeing promotional content, unless you're seeing something that's me living my life, there's a chance that AI has touched the content that you're seeing, right? But today I sat down and I was just like thinking about the same thing. I was thinking about how, and I just typed this post on LinkedIn and Substack, and it was like no AI, but it was this idea of like, there's so much wisdom that people have, and we look so closely on like, what's your degree? What's your certification? Like how, all of those things. Have you been trained on this? But I'm like, the real wisdom, like the real like heart of what people know is like what they realized sitting on the beach by themselves, reflecting on a breakup, right? Or their marriage, or what it means to be a mom, or something like that. And I'm like, that is really where our wisdom comes from. It's not from the fact that I have a degree in whatever. It's that experience. It's those emotions, right? It's those like life lessons, those things. And I was just like, I wish more people would just speak to that or would like,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
agree, and I speak a lot about that, like, AI can give you information. That's all that it can do. It
Mhm,
cannot translate that information, it cannot apply that information so that it becomes knowledge, and then from that knowledge that it becomes wisdom,
mhm,
and I
mhm,
think right now there's a fourth thing that I would add to that mix, which is data, right? So
mhm,
you've got information, and you've got data, you've got knowledge, and you've got wisdom.
mhm.
AI can go and research and get some of the data. AI can give you the information. But like 3 years ago now, when I developed my Pinterest course, I said, okay, give me an outline for a course. And it did. And it was horrible. It was missing a lot. It was outdated.
Yeah.
And so I had to add a lot to it. And that's when I say it can't compete with me, it can't. And I have to remind it that all the time
Yeah.
that it just doesn't know enough to be able to compete with my lived experience. I have a daughter who will be 29 in a couple weeks, and
I
she's
was
a
going to
great
bring
grandma.
that up, but I'm glad you brought it up first.
She's a great grandma's baby, right? My
Right.
my grandma, my grandma adored her, and she was my grandma, and she thinks that she is the expert
Mhm.
in my grandmother. But there were those of us who had decades experience with my grandmother before she was born, and
Right.
she was telling me how something went down
Mm.
in my grandmother's life, and I had to remind her. I said, "Darling, sweetheart, I was there.
Yeah.
You're only hearing about it secondhand.
Yeah.
I was there. I could tell you this is what
Yeah.
happened, right?" And it's kind of that same thing with AI. Like it's not there. I think it's a good filler. I think it's a good marketing assistant. Will
Mhm.
it ever be the marketing strategist that Tamira Hamilton is? No. And I don't say that from a place of ego or, so being self-absorbed or any of those other things people sometimes think I am because I'm a confident woman, but just the reality of working with it every day. I
Yeah.
still enjoy working with it. I love being able to do things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to do. It's helped me make a whole lot more money since I've been using it, but it's just not going to replace me. It's a good companion. It's a good plus one. It's a good accompaniment.
Yeah.
And this idea that it's just going to go and kill everybody's job. The only way it's going to kill your job is if you're mediocre, you lack the skills that are relevant today,
Right.
and that or that you just do a really bad
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. So where do you think this comes from? Like, where is this overblown idea of AI will take jobs? Like, where do you think that fear starts?
Or mostly start the media, but
Okay.
also the, proletariat, whatever you call them, the oligarchs, those guys. Like, there have been a lot of cases where they've just flat out lied about what their AI and their robots and that can do. It's made up. And it's in the news. You can go and you can find it. Like when Gemini, there was some Google conference or meeting and they showed what Google can do, and like a week later it came out that it was fudged. It wasn't
Right.
real. I think
Right.
ChatGPT has gotten in trouble for some of that, others. I mean, and being astute in Facebook, I could tell you I don't think they even test things before they roll them out because they're
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
always jacked up, right?
Yeah.
So, I think they put this out, and keep in mind I have a very strong financial services background in education, so I
Mhm.
can really bring it all together if we want. Who There's a lot of stuff happening with the stock market, crypto, and the financial markets where things are being said and pushed to really drive those prices up to increase people's wealth.
Mm.
Is where a lot of it really ultimately is boiling down, and then I think people who feed on and live out of a place of scarcity and fear, they just grab onto it, and then I also see people who are a little younger than I am, who get very excited and they kinda believe whatever they hear on the news, and there are some sources that are better than others, but even within those good sources, there's still some stuff that you just have to have discernment, and that's ultimately where it comes from, is lack of discernment.
I mean, if you look at the past, right? If you look at every major technology shift, they all, in the end, actually created more job and more
Yes.
opportunity than eliminating them.
Absolutely.
So, what's your take on okay, I think there are 2 very clear camps where this is concerned. I don't think there's a lot of people in the middle. I think there are people like you that are like, "AI can't replace a human." We're on this side. Or, people like us who are like, AI shouldn't be replacing humans. Like, I
Right.
don't want to work with a company who is like, help me build an AI system so I can fire my people. Like, that is not, I'm not in the business of people getting fired. Right. So, like, that is not within my work ethic. And then there is the other half of people that are like, how can we embed more AI so that we don't have to pay people to do the things? And those people might be international assistants or administrative, but I actually, you're gonna love this. I was on a mastermind call. I will not name the mastermind in case anybody from this mastermind is watching that. But if you were on, I'm talking about that mastermind. He was like, "Oh, I just spent the weekend building, I don't know, like 28 AI agents, and I fired my whole team." And he was like, "And I'm gonna save like blah, 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 blah." And I mean, it was a split room. Some people were like, "That's awesome." And other people were like, "You're a douchebag." Like,
Yeah.
right?
In my ideal world, in my ideal vision of how this works is, instead of firing those people, you've now been able to put them in other positions to do things that your company has been held back from being able
Sure.
to do,
Yeah.
and what a lot of these companies are going to find is that there is a lack of creativity. There will be a creativity deficit from this because everything is so data driven. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example, an analogy here. Vegas. My first job out of college, I worked in travel for a travel wholesaler. and Vegas was their number one destination. This was actually late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Vegas was like the bee's
Yeah.
knees,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
really just aged myself with that. But you know, you could go to Vegas and you could stay at these luxe hotels for not cheap, but you really got your money's worth. And you got to
Sure.
go to the buffet and there was free drinks and it was just overflow, 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 overflow. And one of the things about Vegas is they really were the first, them and probably Disney, to really use metrics in their business in a different way, down to having an automatic pourer of the liquor so they were not over pouring and
Mm,
leaking money
mhm.
that way. Well, they've done all of that. And now, when you add in AI and you add in technology, now they've priced themselves out of the market. And Vegas is pretty much a ghost town. It's not what it used to be. Gen Z, the millennials are just, and Gen Alpha certainly are just not really interested in going there. It's not their top destination because it's so much more expensive now because the bean counters came in with the AI and everything. And it's just, I mean, you can look at the companies when private equity takes them over and they just focus on the numbers and the measurements and driving the top line up and decreasing the bottom line, and they forget about people.
Mhm.
Because if you're so quick to fire your employees, what about your customers and your clients?
Yeah.
What's your attitude toward them?
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of answered this, but I'd love for you to, like, r reiterate it. Where do you think those companies are gonna end up in 2, 3, 5 years? All of these
Some of them
companies.
are already quietly calling people back to work.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Hopefully at a higher price if any of those people have.
you're so in my you know me very well. You know me very well, right? If
Mhm.
they let you go for AI, you make them pay you more.
Mhm.
At least you ask for 30% more
Yeah.
than what you where you left at. And I say 30 to get them to negotiate back down. You know, and if they give you 30, great. But always ask for more than you think you can get, but ask for more money because they just proved your value. And that's my thing. Like, and I've even had this conversation with ChatGPT that, in my opinion, my value has gone up
Mm.
because of AI. My
Mhm.
value has gone up. The ability to get to a human is now at a premium. It is as it becomes more scarcity. I mean, we know Econ 101,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
As something becomes more scarce and the demand goes down, the price increases.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So that's really interesting, and I'm with you, right? Like, I really just think I don't know where they think it's gonna end up. I don't know how they think that it's gonna be okay, and honestly, I feel like more and more of humans are becoming less tolerant of that kind of thinking,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I don't subscribe to fear-based thinking. I like to think of it more from a logical and pragmatic standpoint with an emphasis on humans, right?
Mhm.
And there are just certain things that if you don't have checkpoints in place, you don't have human oversight, we're going to run into a lot of problems. Like,
Mhm.
the at some point you got to be able to actually see a actual doctor,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
A
Yeah.
pharmacist, you know, there has to be oversight, there has to be human review,
Yeah.
and that in the marketing space, those that I see that are winning, that's what they do. They're like, "Yeah, okay, so we get it. You can use these chatbots," and the chatbots still, again, using them as an experienced marketer, still leave a lot of room
Mhm.
or desire, but and then they have the human review as part of their elite offerings. You get the human review. But if you
Yeah.
can't afford that, you're on your own. So again, if
Yeah.
you know your shit, you're
Yeah.
at the top of your game, your value goes up.
But I think we've almost come full circle. Like, I think that, we've got the early adapters, people like you and I who are using AI right from the beginning, maybe even sooner, before ChatGPT was this big conversation. And, now it's becoming it's very flooded. The amount of people using AI is everybody. You can tell it in the content. One of the things that has we talked about on one of the other AI Women Who AI episodes was we're in this AI thinking loop where everybody seems to be thinking in the same way because they are so reliant on AI and the way that AI thinks that, like, are we actually starting to think like AI because we're interacting with it too much versus having our own way of thought, right? And so everybody's sounding the same. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Um, and I think as that shifts, I actually think more and more people are going to start valuing the human again.
Yes.
Right. And so when I think about like what you do, and I have run marketing briefs
Mhm.
with I have run branding ideas. I have had it look at my website. Like I've done all the things with AI. And at the end of the day, if you were to ask me, well, do you want like Chat GPT's and Claude's feedback or do you want mine? I would want yours.
Yeah.
Like time and time again. Like I actually, and you sparked that thought when you were talking about a doctor. Like, do you want this AI nurse to assess your child, or do you want them to see a human doctor? I
Or
want
to
them to see a human
diagnose you
doctor.
with like stage 3 or stage 4 cancer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, or determine my treatment.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
already go and get 2 and 3 opinions when we get those
yeah,
diagnoses, right? So
mhm,
you think I want the first point of
yeah,
contact to tell me that
yeah, yeah,
is AI? I think not.
yeah, yeah, I
And
think
I'll take it a step further. I feel like so many have outsourced their thinking to
yeah.
AI, and that is the danger zone. Do not outsource your thinking.
That is a really good point because part of Women Who AI, as you know, we are all about ethical AI usage. And so I'm constantly talking about like, where are your own ethical boundaries with
Mhm.
where you use AI? And like, I think and we're all going to vary slightly, but I think as a business owner, it's important for all of us to sit down and say, well, where do I want to use AI in my business? And where don't I? Right. And I think because of a lot of that lack of clarity, that people are potentially using AI for things that at some point they're going to realize I didn't actually want. I mean, like we're seeing it with Claude Cowork and with OpenClaw. Oh, it's answering and drafting all of my emails and sending them out. Okay, I can see how that is attractive because Lord knows I hate my email inbox, but like, is that really what you want AI to do? Like, I have AI flag certain emails for me on a daily basis. Like, it will go through my inbox and it will say, these are the things. And I know you and I have had off recorded conversations around the questions around that and the boundaries and just the security issues. But like, I think at some point, people need to stop and think and say, like, do I really want that? It's
Mm.
just like we're asking, do I want an AI doctor to diagnose me? Do I want an AI robot to bring me my food at a restaurant? I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care who brings my food. Like, someone just bring my food, right? But like, there are other things where I'm like, absolutely not. Like, a human should definitely be doing that. And we think about that as it relates to how we interact with other people. But I don't know that people are thinking about that for themselves in their own business.
And I don't want some of these big tech bros knowing my health data. So
Yeah.
I'm not interested in using their AI health
Yeah.
options because I know why they really want it. They want
Yeah.
the data.
Yeah.
I just read yesterday, not even AI related, that CVS was they have another subsidiary like CDSX or something like that that's tech related, and so they give when you're a customer there and you fulfill your prescription, your data goes through this like clearinghouse kind of, and then the clearinghouse sells your data to the pharmaceutical companies who use it to target ads. you know,
Which the pharmaceutical company, we could have a whole other episode on that. I am not
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. So, it's kind of that same thing. Like that's one of my big boundaries is,
Mhm.
yeah, I love to use you for next day and even same day shipping and even save a little money if I can, but I'm not using you for my doctor.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
It's like
I
you
just
gotta stop letting convenience
yes.
be. I'm not anti-convenience because the girl loves your convenience, but there has to be a line. And I think it's like any relationship, you've got to be very clear about your intentions and
Mhm.
what you expect and lay your boundaries
Yeah.
out. And I think we have to be a lot more prudent with our data and our private sensitive information. I mean, the call has definitely been loud and clear for over 10 years now that we have to be. And unfortunately, there's this school of thought, well, they already have it. Do they? Do they?
Right.
And if they do I want to give them more for them
Right.
to only weaponize it and use it against me?
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's totally good because what I was gonna ask is, so this morning we had an AI think tank for women who AI, and we were talking about how the we're it was about how people are still asking, like, what is the best tool? But that is, like, now the wrong question to ask. Like, you
Yeah,
really need to be asking, like, what is the best tool for what I wanna do? Because there are no tools are created equally.
right.
And we were doing a little run on all of the different platforms, and one of the ones we did was around, market research, having it do research. And so one of the and I asked it, like, "What are the trends that we're seeing for female small business owners?"
Mhm.
Well, one of the platforms, who which is Gemini, which I think does over and above the deep research that any of the other platforms can
Yes,
do,
I would agree.
produce this interesting table, as it likes to do, on just behavioral inequalities, between with the gender gap.
Mhm.
Um, and it was talking about how when it comes to, and I haven't fact checked all of this yet, but in general, it was saying that um, overall, men are using AI and adopting AI more than women. Not a fact that not a surprise. This is something that we've known already, which is part of why we have these conversations. But the interesting part is where women excelled was concerns around the perception of cheating by using AI, concerns around safety when
And
using
not
AI,
surprised.
and ethical and accuracy
Mhm,
skepticism.
mhm.
And so,
I'm
with
not
with the
surprised at all.
me either, right? So when we're talking about these conversations, why do you think there's that difference? Like, I know it's not surprising, and we see it reflecting in conversations that we have inside of Women Who AI, but why do you think that is still the case?
Well, I think part of it is a huge part of it is nature versus nurture, right?
Mhm.
The way we are raised, the way we are conditioned, of course, and we're the life givers. We're the pusher outers
Yep.
of babies. We carry those babies, right? So we are a lot more conscientious and prone to make decisions about the world that we're going to leave behind. I don't just have grown babies, I have grandbabies now,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very conscientious, about waking up every morning
Mhm.
because this world is not ready for me to leave
Mhm.
and these grandbabies be by themselves. Well, they won't be by themselves, but without me,
Yeah.
right? And so we have that. I don't like to call that a burden, but for poetic purposes,
Yeah.
let's call it, we've got that burden to bear
Mhm.
on our shoulders. And it's not that men don't also think about those things, but they, when you think about masculine and feminine energy, they're just a lot more about the providing, the financial, the in the tech, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Men tend to always steer more toward tech in general than women do. And if they can get somebody, they don't care. They just want the labor done. Whether that's someone else or tech, they want the labor done. And if they can make money while doing it and save money, which helps them make even more money, they're going to do it.
Mhm. Yeah. So For all of the women out there, right? Let's like circle back. We started this conversation with you talking about how you are irreplaceable, right? AI is not going to replace you.
Mhm.
For all of the women that are out there that maybe are wondering if AI is going to replace them, whether they are sitting at a desk inside of a corporate office or something like that, or women that are um, and just brushing up around that fear. Like, for me, as someone who does course creation, can AI write someone's course? Absolutely. Right? Like, I know that it can happen.
Mhm.
And so there are a lot of things out there that people are using AI for whatever reason, over bringing in and investing in a human. What advice would you give to female owners, not only with like the right mindset as they use AI, but so that they can still walk forward with confidence,
Mhm.
but maybe also like what is the fatal flaw? Like where do you think people shoot themselves in the foot to devalue themselves where it seems like, well, why wouldn't I just have AI do that for me?
Using A out of the box and no human review. If
Mm,
you are letting AI just write your course and think that the first thing that it gives you, or you give it just some minor changes,
mhm,
you're gonna have a problem, right?
yeah.
And so you have to look at it as how much is your time worth to sit and keep correcting and fine tuning and perfecting that course that AI wrote for you. It
Mm,
still very much needs human assistance and human oversight, right? And I
yeah.
just want to circle back really quickly to the fear and the ethical and that divide with women and men. I will also say I feel like the women are getting more of the messaging around the dangers of AI and how it's drying up water and things
Mhm,
like that. I think, and I think that's intentional.
mhm.
Everyone has an agenda, good, bad, indifferent. Everyone has their agenda. And there's certain demographics that they know to push that information to.
Same.
Yeah. So there's that, but my advice to the small business owner is how okay, now that you've got AI and you've got this cost savings, now that you've got AI and it's giving you back your time within your company, what's next? What can you use both AI and humans to take you to next? Because we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about yet how many jobs AI is going to create and
Mhm,
is creating. Like as a if you're listening to this and not seeing it, if you can't tell by my dialect and the bass in my voice, I am a Black woman, right? And my Black 12-year-old grandson, I am not pushing him to the trades as is the media would have him do. Why
mhm,
would I push him to the trades when I know private equity is already digging their stake in the
mhm,
trades?
mhm.
And two, when there's this whole new frontier of wealth that's going to be generated and
Yeah.
created because of AI. And even if you don't want to be the innovator entrepreneurial route, there are jobs that are not even in existence today that are going to pay deep in the
Mhm,
six figures.
mhm.
We are moving toward away from I'm a marketer, so it's always what are we running away from and what are we running toward? We are running away from heavy labor. Why would I send my bloodline to heavy labor when they can go toward heavy creativity, the
Yeah,
humanities, and building wealth? That way they can have more by doing less.
yeah,
Make that
yeah,
make sense to me.
yeah, yeah. I love that. That's such a good perspective because, I shared earlier that I was gonna mention, that you were a grandma, and as a
Mhm.
mom, and I think that's part of the other thing. You talked about why women are more concerned, right? And we think about our legacy and our children and what we're leaving behind, but, like, I don't know about you, but, like, in our school district, and from what I can tell, it seems to be across the board, there's a lot of schools out there that are basically making kids afraid of AI, making them feel like it's cheating, making them feel like, all the things. Like, what do you want your grandkids to understand and know about AI?
Oh, I love this question so much. Number one, because I love my babies so much. I don't want them to live in a state of fear. I always want them operating from an abundance and opportunity
Mhm,
mindset, right? but don't, what's the phrase? Use your head, use your go with your heart, but take your head with you.
Yes.
That's what I want them
Yeah.
to do, right? And so it's funny, my grandson was here and he's prepubescent and there was something I said to him and he didn't want to hear it. So his rebuttal was that's AI, right? That's his smart little response to everything. That's AI. That's AI. And the 6-year-old, she can spot AI in a nanosecond out of the corner
Mm,
of her eye, deep fakes and all. She can spot it. That's AI. So what I want them to understand is AI is going to be here whether you like it or not. It's not going anywhere. And
mhm.
not only that, AI has been around longer than your nana has been living.
Yeah.
We've been using AI for a very long time and didn't know it. It's nothing mystical. It's nothing, otherworldly. It's just the next generation of
Yeah.
technology being marketed to you as this thing that's going to replace civilization. And it's not. So, how can you take that and use that and leverage it to do like Eminem says Elvis Presley did with black music? Use it to make yourself wealthy
Mm, yeah.
and create that generational wealth so that 5, 7, 10 generations deep, we good.
I love that. I love that. That is such a great way to end because I do think that that is a part of what we leave behind, right? Is our own legacy and as users in AI, what are we sharing with our own children and helping them think differently in this new age that they're growing up in? So that's great.
Yeah, to me, it's like during the internet bubble, telling my kids to go be a pipe layer
Mm,
instead of, like
yeah.
it's the biggest like Malcolm Gladwell Outliers, and he talks about how the wealthiest families in the world, the key person was all born within a certain time period. Like
Mm,
JP Morgan, the robbers baron, all those guys were all born within a certain time period. And
mhm,
then now we've got Gates, we've got Musk, we've got, Bezos, all of those guys within the same time period
mhm.
because they were born just before this big technological shift.
Yeah.
So why would I send my grandchildren, my bloodline, to go do the work of the days of old
Yeah.
when they can go to the days of new and it's the open blue sky. It's
Yeah.
also less regulated. It's
Yeah.
less and I'm not saying to do bad things with it, but that's when the most money is made is when it's less regulated.
Yeah.
It big
Yeah.
and then the people mess it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, amazing. So for all of our listeners who want to connect with you and check out your work and all of the things, where can they find you?
The best place is on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's, it's my first name and last name, pretty easy to find. That's the best place. I didn't have a lead magnet for AI, so
Yeah.
I'm actually and because of AI, I'm rethinking and redoing my whole lead magnet strategy. So they're all kind of on hold right now.
I love it. Well, we'll be sure to drop your Facebook page, your LinkedIn. I'll grab a website for you if you want people to be able just to peruse a little bit more about what you do. We'll make sure that those are in the description of this podcast episode. But thank you so much for being on. Lots of good like insight and conversation. And I really love your thought process, right? And really just recognizing that this big fear world that so many people are living in is actually potentially bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and thank you for having me. And what you just said is why AI can't replace me. It
Yeah.
can't replace that thinking process because that thinking process is not just systems from A to B to C to D. There's still the gut, the heart
Mhm.
that are involved
Yeah.
in that.
Um,
So thank you.
yeah. All right. And thank you everybody for joining in on this Women Who. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Women Who AI podcast. If this conversation gave you something, a spark, a strategy, or just a reminder that you belong in this space, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe wherever you listen, leave us a review, and most importantly,
come find us inside the Women Who AI community. I'm Kelley Tenny, and I'll see you in the front row.
AI episode. Lots of great conversations that are happening. So make sure you drop some comments and make sure you connect with Tamira after you've watched this episode. There are many, many more good conversations to come. And we'll see you in the next session.